She called 911 on my moving truck like I'd rolled a tank into a cul-de-sac like boxes, and a beat-up duffel were a public safety threat. And I'm standing there in yesterday's clothes thinking, welcome home, Noah. Deputy Harris shows up, does the slow walk around the curb, checks. The fire lane, nods at me with that face that says he's broken up enough. HOA squabbles to last 2 lifetimes. Look civil. Not criminal, handle it. Like adults, he says, and drives off while Deborah, Linwood gold nameplate binder, hugged to her chest. Like a riot shield, leans in and smiles. Like she just won a trophy. You have 1 hour to move that truck, she says. Heels clicking toward a silver BM in the prime guest spot. Vanity plate, Pirza. A halo of leaves tucked against the tires, like that car grew roots. I know a hustle when I see one. You know what I mean? 6 months backpacking teaches you to read people fast, to hear the pitch under the policy. So when my neighbor Zoe strolls over with 2 coffees and a look that says, "You met our queen on day 1. I listen, I sip. I hear about sidewalk chalk fines and flag brackets at the wrong angle. And then the man 3 doors down lifts a mug in Hello khaki shorts, garden gloves, eyes that sparkle with long memory. Folks call me Hal, he says later. And when I mention Deborah's 2-hour rule, he chuckles like a man who's seen paperwork used as a weapon. That BMW's been in guest parking since the Broncos were good, son. Original covenants don't mention any permanent exemption, he adds. And the way he says it lands like a breadcrumb on a dark trail. That night, my floor turns into a map room. 2 handbooks opened side by side. The thin, clean 2016 booklet and the swollen 2023 edition with Deborah's fingerprints all over it. And right there, underlined like a wish, presidential vehicle stipend, up to $8 a month. For official travel, I search. State guidelines, management, best practices, even dusty forum posts. Nothing matches. Nothing even close. It's like she invented a benefit and dared us to call it theft. Morning brings a ticket in my inbox for a white picket fence that came with the house, $200. Due in 72 hours. And instead of blowing up, I go very quiet. I take photos of everything. The guest sign 20 feet from her spot. The leaves, the plate, the binder peeking from her tote. Every email, every timestamp, all of it in a folder that feels heavier each time I drag in a new file. At 2 p.m., Zoe texts like she's calling a race board vote posted. You're approved for the guest spot. 4-1, and you could feel it when Deborah stepped outside and saw the banner I'd taped to the pole. Reserved. Move in approved. The air-thinned windows turned into silent eyes. She worked that wheel like she was docking a cruise ship, then eased the BMW down to her actual assigned space 3 houses away. And that tiny walk looked like a canyon she hadn't crossed in years. Fate, or comedy, or maybe just karma sent in. Zoe's golden retriever captain, at the exact wrong moment tail. Helicoptering a joyful hop. Deborah juggling papers from her back seat. Invoices spinning into the afternoon. I step forward because I was raised to help when people drop things. And my hand freezes on a bill that says emergency tree removal at Deborah's home address charged to the HOA, another for vehicle detailing, another for lawn maintenance, presidential residence. And when I look up, she lunges, snatches the stack, whispers, "Mind your business, backpack boy," like my curiosity was the crime. That night, Zoe and I turn the living room into a crime lab sticky notes and strings our own low-rent version of a detective board. And just when the picture starts to form, my phone buzzes with a number. I don't know, a message that reads, "I used to be treasurer. Meet me at Zoe's Cafe at 10. Bring your courage." And yeah, I didn't sleep much because I've been in rooms where the wrong decision sends you home without a passport. Carlin and Gwen sits across from me in the back corner. Hands trembling, but voice steady. "Deborah pushed me out after 5 years. She says, sliding over a folder like a surgeon handing a scalpel. Bank statements, emails, typed directives with Deborah's signature payments to ghost vendors that never worked anywhere except her address. The same line items, month after month. For presidential travel landscaping, disguised as emergency maintenance. Even legal fees billed during Deborah's divorce marked consultation. And my anger rises slow and hot, not the kind you shout, with the kind that stacks one page, then another, until the weight is undeniable. Why not the police, I ask? And Carla glances at the street because it's her board. The management company is scared. I needed someone. She's actively targeting someone who can prove it's still happening. And I realize I'm not just moving in. I'm stepping into the middle of a story that's been choking on binder clips for years. Back home, I flip through the rules again and hit a gift that Deborah wrote to herself. Section 12.4, Community Enhancement Event Parking. Residents can reserve visitor spaces for 7 days, if it's for neighborhood programming. And I write the most formal email of my life, housewarming and community integration. Week vendor consultations. Welcome receptions. All quoted to the letter, and the board, now skittish from daylight, stamps it approved by lunch. You've never tasted pettier joy than watching a long-occupied parking throne become a welcome table, a hand-painted sign, a little guest book. Where her driver's door used to open, neighbors wander over because it turns out people want a third place. That isn't a driveway. We have coffee cookies, a couple patio heaters from Hal, and Deborah starts firing complaints like a confetti cannon. Noise, safety, unauthorized commercial activity, all denied because we followed her rules. And on day 3, Deputy Harris calls me. Can't quite hide his grin. Every complaint reads like a diary entry. "Mr. West," he says. And I exhale for the first time in a week. Day 4. Late afternoon, the block humming like a backyard barbecue. Deborah storms in with the binder voice going sharp. This is an orchestrated attack. She points at my folding grill like it's a felony. You people are letting an outsider destroy standards, and I make the mistake of being kind. Want a burger? Deborah, plenty to go around, and she snaps. I know exactly how much you make, Noah, $2,800 a month. You can't afford to live here without gaming the system. And everything stops. You could hear a leaf bounce off the curb because it's one thing to fine hydrangeas. It's another to recite a neighbor's income in the street. Phones are up. Zoe's cup hits the pavement. Harris pulls in like fate has timing, and when Zoe repeats the line word for word, he flips a page and asks Deborah how she obtained my financial info. She sputters something about a guess, but numbers that precise. Don't just float into your mouth. He takes statements and drives off, and you can feel support draining from Deborah, like someone pulled a plug. She fires an emergency meeting email over the weekend, calls it. Restoring order, attaches my travel photos like noodles in Laos, are a threat to property values. The community center fills people, buzz with that mix of curiosity and hunger. We all pretend we're above. Deborah leads with the sermon. Property values, stability, the danger of transience. A few folks nod because fear is catchy. I stand with Carla's folder, and I don't raise my voice. I just read invoices to her address, billed to the HOA emails, instructing fake emergencies recurring payments that match the phantom stipend clause she wrote for herself, and a low murmur moves along the wall like a draft. Zoe stands and calmly asks which physician and which board vote approved Deborah's parking medical exemption. Eyes drop to shoes, and Deborah starts flipping the binder like the pages will rearrange into proof if she